Hi everyone, this is Ms. Cahill, and this video is going to walk you through how to construct a thesis statement for the Lord of the Flies essay assignment. Before we do that, I just want to go over the purpose of a thesis statement. So a thesis statement is just another word for the main claim or argument of your essay. And a thesis statement is making a claim that is defensible. And by defensible, I mean it's going to lead to some kind of argument that leads to a conclusion. In other words, something you need to prove, okay? Now, if you make a vague thesis statement that doesn't really try to prove anything, usually what ends up happening is you have an essay that turned into all summary instead of analysis. And our goal should always be to have an analytical essay and not a summary-based essay, okay? So here on the screen in front of me, you'll see a thesis template that is provided for you. This is on your version of the assignment as well, exactly like this. So what I want to do in this video is come up with a sample thesis to help you understand how this template works. So I'm going to type my sample thesis into the purple text just as you would. Now, what I don't want you to do is copy my sample thesis statement for your essay. Instead, I want you to use this to help you understand how it's structured and what I'm looking for, and then come up with your own thesis statement that presents an argument that you are going to prove in your essay, not the one that I'm proving to you right now, okay? So for this assignment, you need to come up with 3 symbols that help to reveal something about human nature. So first thing you need to consider is, what do I really think this book tells me about human nature that I'm going to want to prove? Now, in my opinion, this book shows me that it's really easy for people to be swayed to make evil decisions. Like, it's not hard for these boys to go from being really civilized, orderly, and caring about other people to turn into the savages that they become at the end. And so I want the second half of my thesis statement to indicate that it's easy for people to make evil decisions. So what I'm going to do here is start from that. So I'm making a claim that this book reveals how easy it is for people to make evil decisions. And that's the claim that I want to focus on in my essay. And so what I'm going to have to do now is think of symbols throughout the book that are connected to that descent into evil. So if I think about it off the top of my head, I'm thinking maybe of the paint that Jack uses on his face. And maybe that can represent a symbol of his descent into savagery. So I'm going to use that as my first symbol. Okay, so Jack's face paint would be my first symbol. Okay, I need 3 though. So what other symbols could I potentially use that are related to evil? I'm thinking maybe that whole Lord of the Flies thing would be a great example for this too. So maybe I'll add the pig's head as an example, because that is representing the evil that exists in us all that we talked about, right? Okay, so now I have 2 symbols. What about my third symbol? Well, I feel like everything really went downhill once the boys killed Simon, right? So I think the death of Simon was really symbolic of everyone shifting into evil, and I'm going to use that as a symbol for my third example. So I'm going to add that here, and the death of Simon. So what I've done here is I started by thinking about what point I wanted to prove, and then I backtracked to think about what evidence from the text could help me prove that point. And I've come up with a thesis like the one here. William Golding uses symbols such as Jack's face paint, the pig's head, and the death of Simon to reveal how, and see, I just caught a typo as I'm doing this. To reveal that how doesn't sound very nice, right? So I'm going to delete that because it doesn't fit with my wording. And that's okay for you to do too. So now I'm saying to reveal how easy it is for people to make evil decisions. And so what I'm going to do with this thesis statement in the next step is think about each one of those symbols and go back and find evidence from the text to support my claim that I'm making here. So that's it. That's a thesis statement. It's the the building block of your essay. So your focus in this first step of planning is to come up with your argument, and then we're going to develop that argument in our outline by gathering evidence. That's the end of this video for planning a thesis statement. Now it's your turn to go and try your own thesis statement based on an argument that you want to prove about the text. Thank you so much for watching, and that concludes this video. So you can X out and get started on your work.